Greetings to you. Well, it's nothing new. Allegations and more allegations. They are not creative. That's all they come with. Corruption, Ali this, Ali that. Nothing original. But I have a lot of original stuff to talk about today. And we'll start with some original stuff. From your holy book, Volume 1, Prince Ali and the President. Make sure you get your copy today on Amazon. Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com and you will have access to Volume 1. And in the future, the remaining 7 episodes, volumes of the book. So let's read from a scripture in the Holy Book of Ali. Chapter 3, I'm fast forwarding. Can't give you everything. I need to earn money for the book. Matter of fact, for the Durga Foundation, I'm getting some backlash for the foundation right now. So if when you buy a book, 100% goes towards the operations of the foundation. The reluctant spotlight. That's third chapter. It's important for me to give you from the base, the foundations of the series of my personal account. It reads thus: the difference between avoiding attention and being unprepared for it. Ali wasn't afraid of people. He wasn't afraid of responsibility. But attention, especially unnecessary attention, was something he never chased. That became clear the more I tried to bring him into spaces where visibility mattered. The show was one of those spaces. To me, it was simple: a platform, a conversation, chance to speak to and to be heard. But for him, it felt like something else entirely. Exposure. I remember the conversation leading up to it. They weren't always dramatic. There were no arguments, no firm refusals, just hesitation. A quiet reluctance that showed itself in its pauses, in delayed answers, in subtle attempts to shift the focus elsewhere. Not now, he would say sometimes, or maybe later, always later. At first, I thought it was just a matter of confidence, that once he did it, it would become easier, that all he needed was a push. And I thought wrong. Look at Ali now. All of these things I've written, what I've recorded, especially in the first volume, are based on my perception of the man I had the opportunity of engaging with. And boy, did I thought wrong. Look at Ali today. If I could have predicted that boy then would become the king today, who knows? I would have been a Christian. That's no compliment. Don't get it wrong. Because I'm Hindu, you think Hinduism is something else. No. When I say I would have been a Christian, I'm talking about the fact that he used to push me towards that direction. Go to church, stay in the church. And you know the thing about Ali is that he never forces me to join Islam. We would go to the mosque at Anna Katrina. I can recall twice we've been there. The mosque at Anna Katrina with another friend at the time, Zaik. Now he's Dr. Zaik, but Zaik, myself, and Ali Irfan, we would be there at the mosque sometimes when there's the Eid and stuff like that. Yes. Anyway, some information I left out of the book. Why that matters? It is because people don't just change overnight. They don't just change overnight. It's like a prostitute prostituting since she's 16 years old. And when she's 40 years old, her pussy is offline, it's worn out. She wants to join the church. She wants to settle down when there's nothing left to offer a man. And she goes in the church, wears a dress, and suddenly everything is supposed to become brand new. No. Shit don't happen like that. The church might save your soul, not your body. You need to bear cognizance of this, Guyanese. You need to. So welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I'm your host, your precious gift, Dr. L. Prasad, which translates the precious gift to you, all Guyanese. Now let's move on with it. I want to say a pledge, and I would like those who are watching right now to join me with the pledge. As often as I can remember, or I will remember, we're going to go through this. Now I have to try to bridge the gap, bring Guyanese together under one umbrella, the PPP, under one prince, Ali. So I'm asking you to put your hand across your chest right now. As we speak, right now. Hold your phone or your laptop, whatever it is. Take your right hand, put it across your chest. And believe in your heart. If you can say it out, say it out. If you can't, memorize it in your mind. Repeat it in your mind, in your thoughts. I'm waiting now. Put your hand across your chest. Okay? You raise your left hand. And you say, I, call your name. In my case, I, Dr. L. Prasad, do solemnly swear that I shall serve, obey, and regard and reverence President Irfan Ali as the true, authentic leader and the redeemer and shaper of Guyana's destiny. I so solemnly swear that I will always support the PPP. I will always be a good patriot, a decent citizen, a law-abiding citizen, and I will stand for the rights and the protection of my president and my country and my people. So help me the Constitution of Guyana, Dr. L. Prasad. And you recite your own name. Thank you. Like I said before, you're constantly lambasted online from the Amanza. Where the fuck she came from? Didn't you retire Amanza Walter Desir? You see, no matter how much I try, folks, no matter how much I try, to stay in the lane where I don't have to raise my tempo, start breathing heavily. I think about these losers and I become something else. I become something else. Anyway, Amanza Walter Desire, you're getting old. Women don't look good with age. Men do. You're getting old. Enjoy your retirement, win money. You surface to talk a bunch of crap. Nobody's interested in you, Amanza Walter Desire. Nobody. You are an accidental parliamentarian. An accidental parliamentarian. You came by chance. It's like a man is fucking, he's fucking. And he can swear that when he's about to come, he said, oh, baby, I'm coming, coming. He pulled out. Pulled out. And a little bit of sperm dropped at the front of the vagina. Because his intention was not to get the woman pregnant. Pulled out, jerk off on her. What do you know? 9 months after, he's questioning the pregnancy. What the fuck? But I pulled out. Yeah, honey, you know, they say that the pre-cum also contains sperm. But bitch, I pulled out. But look at the kid. You don't need a DNA test. Amanza, you are the kid that a man didn't want. You understand? You are the parliamentarian that Guyanese didn't want, but they had to settle for because you coveted that position. Leftovers. You should be working with the Chinese and sell the chop stew. You know, all the meat they don't want to put in the main dish, they put it together, make a stew. That's you, Amanza. You're the version of life that should be retired. Yeah, you should be. And quite frankly, I don't know. You should be somebody's girl toy. Yeah, some guys like older women as their girl toy, you know. They can teach them a thing or two. Like how to beat women. Since I heard allegedly you like beating men. So Amanza, President Irfan Ali is not your equal. Your equal is Azruddin Mohammed. Your equal is Sherrod Duncan. Your equal is David Hines, Aubrey Norton, Campbell. Ali, Jagdeo, and the others from the PPP are not your equal. They're decent folks. You have to excuse the coughing because I had no intentions to stay away because I need to get these things off. So you have to excuse the coughing. It's going. When you talk, you breathe. Then the coughing, yeah, you have to excuse it because I wouldn't sleep tonight. President Ali didn't start the war in the Middle East the same way he didn't start COVID. He came to government with a pandemic, but yet he kept the country afloat and brought it from then to now. He didn't start the war. Guyana don't have an oil refinery. You fucking idiots. Guyana don't have an oil refinery. An oil refinery takes years to build. If the government took the income from when the oil started and had put all of it towards an oil refinery in anticipation that they'll have a war somewhere that might affect oil prices, that would be the next talking point, wouldn't it? Yeah, before he concentrates on roads and invest in the economy, in the agriculture sector, the health sector, in education, he's now saying we need a refinery because if war comes, how does he know there's going to be a war? Either way, they'll find something to criticize Prince Ali. Either way. So despite the subsidies the government has put since Chedi time, every PPP government has always subsidized goods and services to Guyanese to make it livable. Always. Now Irfan Ali he's gone through the roof with subsidies. That's why I said many times he's spoiling an ungrateful nation. I ain't speaking on behalf of Ali or the PPP. I speak on behalf of Dr. El Prasad. This is Uncensored Guyana. President Ali does not endorse or give me talking points. He has no connection whatsoever with what I say on my platform. Please understand that. Okay? But the way Guyana is going right now, it is because we have a genius. Literally a genius. A man who's multifunctional. Yeah. Multitask. You don't have men like that these days. Women are conditioned to be multitask, not men. But President Irfan Ali, God has given him the capacity to be multitask because God understood the greatness of Guyana will depend largely on who leads it. And Guyana from 2020 to now is great. It can only get greater because we have a multifunctional, multi-talented young president. Yeah, he's young. Don't worry about the gray. You see how he dances? That's youth there for you. That's why Smelly Smell and all these others are fantasizing. Because they heard men in their 40s can fuck. That's what they heard. I have to speak slow. So, Guyanese, all that you see gearing up right now, all the accusations you're seeing online, is because there is an election coming up. And they understand, they understand that if they can control the local governments, the NDCs, they control a large part of the economy. They understand that. So they will do their best to target our president, smear his character, and associate him with crimes and criminals that don't exist. Why? Because they want your votes in June. Just 3 months from now, a short period. If you take that risk to give as much as one vote to a criminal, you're going to be cursed. When God said to the nations, I will bless those who bless Israel, that should be taken literally. God is saying the same thing to Guyanese. He will bless those who take the oath of Ali. He will bless those who bless the president. Bless those who stands with the PPP. And all those who stand against the president, against the PPP, they will be cursed. Look around you. I don't have to tell you about that. You're seeing it every day. Look online. If it's not some gay man crying online because of some man who don't want him, it's some gay woman crying online because some woman don't want her, it's some criminal cussing out the government, some racist from the PNC talking about how black people are ungrateful because they joined the PPP. Look at the chaos, the toxicity coming from the people who stands with the opposite side. And even so, look at the devastation in the lives of the people who support Ajudi Muhammad. Every one of them is cursed. Every one of them. Because I said it before. The monies they collected from Azruddin Mohammed for protest, for votes, to create chaos, I said that is sacrificial money. That is blood money. They sold their soul. So they are now immune to humanity. Nothing affects them. He could call on them to come out and say stuff, and they do it. Because they have no morals. They are void of that. They have none. It doesn't exist. Zero. And what is left of their lives, instead they seek redemption. Instead, they seek redemption. Now Lyndon is coming to their senses. The Lyndon town. Now, I'm one of the persons who said that place is cursed. You need to change the name of Lyndon into something else, because you're naming your town after a criminal, after the worst president in the Guyanese history, a murderer, a thief, an opiate king. What you think happens? Those who comes under that name shall be cursed. What does your Bible say? What does your Bible say? There is what? Power in the name of Jesus. All who come in my name, who profess and confess my name, shall be blessed. That's what the Bible says. Name matters. Oh, that's strong. Ooh, I feel the Spirit. Name matters. In whose name do you come? Under whose banner do you come? In whose image and likeness do you come? It matters. Your name always matters. So this is why the people who comes under the name of the PNC, they suffer. They're in pain. They're hurt. They're divided. They're in crime, criminality. They die. They suffer. They're sick. They're diseased. They don't live long. They're stressed out because the PNC represents everything that is evil. Because they come in the name of Barnum. Lyndon has potentials. The Afro-Guyanese in Lyndon wants liberation. They don't want to be dumbed down with reparations from slavery. Nobody wants to hear about that anymore. Stop keeping the black people enslaved with some 1,000-year history that they if they weren't taught that shit in school, they would have been a freer people. Things like that should never be taught in school. What kind of history? That is not relevant to anybody's development. African history is not relevant. The only thing that they should have understood, the only thing that the blacks, the Afro-Guyanese, should be taught in schools is how a racist president, premier, prime minister, evil man devastated the country, took from their foreparents. That's what they need to know. So they will understand that under no circumstance should they endorse, stand with, or support anything that resembles Barnum, bears the name of the PNC, and in today's time, anything associated with the PNC, meaning Azruddin Mohammed. They are cursed. They are bad for the future of the African race in Guyana. They are terrible. So Londoners, Buxton, the East Coast villages, all the ghettos, and you call yourself ghettos. I ain't call you ghetto. You're the one making videos and coming on social media, and you are promoting your neighborhood as ghetto. So I'm just responding to what you're saying. There is nothing ideal, structured, prestigious about the ghetto. Labels matter. You have to come out of that mentality. Stop excusing your condition, your laziness, to what's coming out of Azharuddin Mohammed accusing our president of wrongdoings. Stop embracing that to justify your unwillingness to work, to develop, to get into the whole spirit of enterprise. Stop doing that. If you stay on the podcast of these PNC people, the Slows and the Browns and the Normans and all these, if you stay on them, you shall inherit the curses that are on them. Come on, Guyanese women, Afro-Guyanese women. Don't you want real men to influence you? Don't you want to look up to real men? Men that you actually know likes women? Even if they may have a lot of women, what the point is, they like women. Don't you want those kinds of men to admire? Because you know it's masculinity. Why would you admire men who are competing with you for attention? Like I said before, President Irfan Ali was never a sucker for attention. He was always good looking. Always. Not today. In plastic surgery or makeup. I knew Ali when he had no facial hair. Ali was always handsome, always attractive. And today, but still the man never likes attention, never. You know how hard it is now for him to deal with that? Every second is a picture, a post. But he had to adapt. Because like I said in my book, he was being prepared without him knowing it for this. So he wasn't pushing for attention and lusting for attention. People like that you can trust. When people are running around and creating mischief and fabricating fake news just because they want attention, like that bitch on TikTok who said the CIOG took order from Ali to get rid of her from the canteen. She's an attention seeker and she got the attention she's looking for. She got the attention because the prince of demons responded. So she got the opportunity to get close with the energy of Satan and now to accuse a president and a scholar of conspiring to get rid of her from a fucking canteen. A canteen? Granger took acres of land away from its rightful owner when he was president. His administration took away a lot of land from Guyanese and gifted the Mohammeds. Gifted it to the Mohammeds. Contracts, they turned their backs on a lot of the corruption from the Mohammeds, a lot of the crimes from the Mohammeds. A matter of fact, this whole case, this extradition case, could have been executed since in the PNC time, since 2015, 2020. But every effort, they blocked it. They blocked it. The regime of the PNC under Kemraj, by the way, Kemraj Ramdatan, I still didn't get a confirmation as to why did you accept the $1 million from the Mohammeds? In that case, with the ship, with the boat, the smuggling boat to Curacao, where they had the gold heist, the heist. Yes, Kemraj, you were one of the persons who were talking a lot on that thing, pushing it in the parliament, but suddenly you got silent. Allegedly, you took $1 million. Or was it 10? How much was it? So in the PNC time, the coalition, they could have gotten the Mohammeds since then. But since the Mohammeds controlled Granger way down, the Americans and the other countries could not get their guy. The law-abiding president, President Ali, did what any civilized, decent leader would do. He stands by the agreement. Even though Now look at this. All them shitty people from the PNC who are talking about this woman from CARICOM who Kamala Prasad objected to her election as Secretary General. President Ali knew how Guyana suffered because of the CARICOM boycott with the Venezuela case and all these things. The whole world knows that. And despite the best ally, the greatest CARICOM ally that Guyana has, Trinidad and Tobago, under Kamala Prasad, she continues on her position against the re-election of the CARICOM Secretary General amidst all the corruption there. But Ali, President Ali, our prince, our leader, did not allow personal sentiments to get involved in his judgment as a leader. He said he was consulted, he was a part of the process, so he support the election of this woman. You think if it was Trump, knowing how the same country, St. Lucia and all the other countries, stood against Guyana with Venezuela crisis, you think if it was Trump, he would have said, law, he would say, fuck the law. You didn't come to cover me when I needed your help. But no, Ali is a man of law and order. And the Trinidadian Prime Minister understands that. She didn't take it personal to say that, well, I'm the only ally for Guyana. Ali should have stood it. No. She understands the position Ali must take. And here you have this lowlife, Muhammad. Everything, every opportunity he gets, he spews out these lies and these accusations as if President Ali himself signs the check associated with contracts, associated with projects, as if Ali himself is aware of who doing what. You wouldn't think they have a ministry of agriculture, ministry of housing, ministry of public infrastructure. You wouldn't think so. You would think Ali is his cabinet. There's nobody else, only him. So if something seemed to have a question mark in the government, oh, Ali knows about it. This is what they're selling, because they know that Guyana does not rally around the government of Ali. Guyana rallies around Ali. And because Guyana rallies around Ali, everything that is attached to Ali benefits from the loyalty Guyanese have to him, the president. So what is Wynne trying to do? Break that. They're trying to create all of these talking points to stimulate Guyanese, to put fear in Guyanese. And when Azruddin thinks that he stands alone and none of the other opposition wants anything to do with him, he picks up his phone and reminds them where their check coming from, where their check is coming from. So you have issues like Amanza Walter Desir would get off or take a pill to stop the period to come online to cuss out Ali because her boss calls her and say, hey, you got to work for your money. Come and say something about Ali. So are all the others. But they have nothing of substance. Absolutely nothing of substance. If they had it, they would show it, right? All the accusations, and they never produced the evidence. They concocted 19 charges, fraud charges, indictments, to prevent destiny from being fulfilled. And even while they tried their best, because you could accuse somebody and fake some evidence and get the police that you control to go arrest them. But when the process is completed, the person is exonerated, but the damage would have been done. You know you can't convict them. You just want to damage their reputation. So they tried to damage Irfan Ali's reputation leading up to the elections because they know he will be the candidate. And they know Guyanese love him. And they know they saw the writing on the wall. The writings on the wall. They saw that. That God is going to raise up a man who shall bring Guyana to the promised land through the miry clay, onward, where every Guyanese shall be lifted up in high places, where they shall be proud to be who they are. They saw the writing on the wall. So they tried to stop him with fake charges. And so far, and they controlled the DPP at the time. They control everything. I mean, they still control it today. And even while they controlled the judicial system, the police, the military, they still could not fabricate enough credible evidence to lock up Ali, nor Jagdeo. So what are they doing now? Doing what they do best. Producing fake news just for it to get out there. They just want it to go out. They don't have to just let it go out. Now, like the Adriana case, close to the elections, when they produce all these things to play on the emotions of black people, they weren't targeting the Indians. No, because they know that Indians use their brain. They're rational. They think, they weigh the pros and the cons. They're not snapping on emotions. You can't say, oh, look there. And they're going to, wait, no. They're going to question it. Where? What's there? How do you know? You got the evidence? But the typical black, you tell them, hey, look there. And they would run. Only when they leave their spot to have the person who's telling them that there's something happening there to take that spot. So when they reach and they return, they realize that nothing is there. They're like, yeah, but you went. You lost your spot. The PNC continues to use that weapon to push propaganda, fake news, because they only want the blacks to react emotionally, not intellectually. I have called yesterday for the Attorney General to examine the laws regarding thinking and who can think. Because it is important. Now elections are coming up again, and look at what the PNC choose to jump on. And their agent, Glenn Lal, is he related to Azriddin Mohammed? They look alike. Glenn Lal from the Kaitra News. He has a resemblance to Azriddin Mohammed. Yeah, I met him back in the day. His papers used to write a lot of shit about me. But what's the relationship with Glenn Lal and Mohammed? Because you see, like I said before, elections is coming. And of all the issues they could choose, all the issues, they decide to hold on to this whore who is accusing President Ali of calling a scholar a religious man, and ordering him to go against his religious values in taking bread out the mouth of this bitch. So it's plastered on the front page of the Kaitra News. It's plastered on every PNC pundit's wall and win. Because they get a winning ticket now. It's like, wow, we have something to use against Ali. Oh, it's sentimental. Here is a mother and her children. They take bread from her. And this is a Muslim sister that was denied from a Muslim organization just because of politics and favoritism. Where is freedom of speech? They think they got something. Like I said before, the facts are the facts. If you are renting a building, let's make it simple. If I give somebody one of my vehicles to drive, as a taxi, and I am aware, I'm made aware, or the person themselves made a clip with them smoking marijuana in my car, or even fucking in my car. You think if I see that, I would, like, this is cool, this is nice, good for business? No, in my mind, I can't associate with people like that. I'm going to call them and say, hey, bring my vehicle. Your actions are inconsistent with the clause of the contract. You have congressmen in America, senators, who are only accused, not found guilty, of having sex with their secretaries or cheating on their wives. No moral crimes, just simple public whatever. And these men lose their jobs. They have to quit because the House don't want any association with such characters. You have a low-life scum like this woman who comes on social media without her hijab. You see the hypocrisy? She wears the hijab when she's going on the premise of the CIOG, knowing the requirements of how modest a woman should be to conduct business. But when she is on a social media app that demands better accountability, better responsibility, because it's a global app, it's not limited to the location where she's selling. And she coming with her hijab, then she's violating all the principles of Islam. Because the filters that she's using, the filters are filters that promotes makeup and wimpers and eyeliners and lipstick. Islam is against that. So when they would rent or give you permission, it's against the background that you are a decent Muslim, well-respected Islamic person who practices Islam. Because they don't want any undesirables to be associated with the organization, because you're saying that the organization endorses a certain lifestyle. So this bitch thinks that she's granted favor, not paying the full price of somebody who may have to run the canteen. She get an opportunity to earn big bucks with paying little, no taxes, making little donations to the organization, because Muslims can't lend for profit. They can't earn profit. And she thinks she's invincible to disrespect that organization with her rants and her rage online, and thinks that the mages in the mosque and the Muslim scholars are going to tolerate it. This ain't Ali or the government. This is not even the man, the CIOG. A lot of Muslim people are on social media. A lot. And if somebody's wife or child who tries to live up to the standards of Islam, recognize that woman and say, hey, mommy, is this the woman that sells at the canteen? Isn't she supposed to be a decent person, a good Muslim? Why is she dressed like this? Why is she promoting? Why is she doing it? Because students come to her place and they were like, this person is a hypocrite. She portrays one face when she's selling, and this is another face. It's going to upset the Muslim community. They don't want those kinds of undesirables on the premise. This isn't it you, Ajuddin, who came out against Anil Nandalal, you, your sister, your whole family, who said that gays and lesbians, Anil Nandalal, and non-Muslims should not enter the mosque, should not stand in a certain row? Aren't you the one who said that? Now you're going to allow another Muslim sister who dresses with a hijab when she's selling to come on social media against the wishes of her husband and say all those nasty things to the leader of the country? I was going to say you're two-headed snake, but I'll say it in terms that you, Ajuddin, can understand. You're fucking two-headed snake. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. That bitch poisoned young minds who would have looked at her, recognized her because they buy stuff from her canteen. She betrayed their trust. And you wanted the CIOG or the Muslims there to turn a blind eye? You know the Shia Muslims' way. You of all persons should know that. You should know that. Hezbollah, Hamas, you should know how they feel about women on social media not dressing with a hijab. You of all persons should know because you have financed them. And just because you have an axe to grind with President Ali because he did not turn a blind eye the way the PNC did to your crimes, you're now saying that this is injustice, taking bread out of a woman's mouth? Who introduced the cybercrime laws? Wasn't it Granger? Wasn't it the Granger regime who started going after people for speaking out? It was him. Guyanese have more freedom. This is why they say what they say. They have so much freedom that they steal every day. They steal every day. Are you thinking that this is an act that is unconstitutional? Freedom of speech? The CIOG is like any normal landlord who refuses to renew the contract of a tenant that broke and breaches the articles or the content, the regulations or the clause of the agreement. If you agree, if you rent a house to someone who says they only have 3 people, and over time you realize that you come and check your place and 6 people are living there, you would not renew the contract, would you? You said that was not the agreement. The agreement that you're supposed to conduct yourself a certain way. If you don't conduct yourself a certain way, you breach the contract. You should be sued. All they do is that, okay, at the end of this contract, you will not be renewing it. Move on. That woman fucked up her own life. She took advantage of the good nature of the good Muslims. She took advantage of it the same way you, Ajuddin, are taking advantage of the unsuspecting nature of some of the poor people in Guyana. That you lie, you fool them, you deceive them, and you expect them to support you. Shit don't happen like that. You breached the Constitution, which your crime is Muhammad. So you're indicted. You're before the courts, you shall be extradited. Because you broke the contract. You breached the agreement of being a good citizen. That's why you're where you are. And your lawyers in America, your lobbyists, their words have no weight. You just want PR. You want public relations. That the lawyers of the Mohammeds wrote to the American embassy. What the fuck can they do? What can they do? That woman is within her rights. She's representing the American government. Every excuse me, every aspect of the American government. It was okay when she said that the opposition leader should be sworn in. Remember when she said that? That we can find a way to work around after the opposition leader is sworn in? Oh, that was okay. The lawyers didn't contact her to say you can't speak on those matters. I bashed her. You see the double jeopardy? When she said the Guyana Parliament, Mansour Nadir, should convene a meeting for the opposition leaders to be sworn in, that it would not affect the dealings of the Americans. When she said that, everybody applauded. Oh, they ran with it. The same Win party ran with it. It was all over. Nobody wrote her. Nobody criticized her. I criticized her. And now, because she came out again and is being fair, the average diplomat, now she can't speak on the constitution of the country. She can't speak on matters of, go fuck yourself. She can speak on anything. Anything. Don't cherry pick what is okay for you. She's correct. Everybody believes the Mohammeds are guilty. The only thing is the courts has to confirm that. People already know. That's why they don't follow him. You can pay how much people you want to wear the Win jersey. Elections is over in 2025. They're still campaigning. Money ran out, right? He printed so much jerseys, being deceived by whatever poll somebody did for him, that 80% of the votes is his. So he printed 80% of the Guyanese population to give jerseys to. Now he has how much jerseys? 100,000 in stock, and giving out to people for them to wear. 2025 elections passed, but he's giving people jerseys to wear 2026. For what? For elections in June? Then you have to change the number on the jersey. It's 2026. It's not a general election. It's regional. You're going to confuse your voters. They're going to think you're delusional. You're still living in the past. You can't accept the fact that you're not president. If you were president, Ali, Ajudin, if you were president, I'll get drunk every day. Yeah. On lemon juice and water. Every day. But you are president of indictments. You're president of crime. You are the president when it comes to corruption. Because I've said again, you cannot, so far, none of you can produce one evidence about anything corruptive President Ali is associated with. None of you. You can't. Why? Because there is none. The cleanest president in Guyana's history is Ali. The cleanest. The man is so humble you will think he's broke. So humble, so ordinary, you would think Ali is broke. The way he carries himself. I'm the one who don't have money, and people think I'm rich because of how I carry myself. Ali is comfortable, but he carries himself as if he's barely making it. Why? Because he's not an attention seeker. He is concerned about building the country. He's concerned about improving the lives of Guyanese. Imagine, look at the garbage trucks the government has donated to the NDCs. They ain't win the NDCs yet. NDCs are still controlled to a large extent by PNC people. But the government already invested billions in correcting the mess under the PNC regime. It's a risk investment, but it's not the same with President Ali. It's not about risk. It's about, I have to serve the Guyanese people. They're busy since before this war, before the elections. The president talked about oil refinery in Guyana and building a fertilizer factory to make fertilizer. Since then, you weren't paying attention. Listen today. They're already looking for investors. They have been looking for investors for a long time. If Guyanese have the capacity, then take on the deal. You think now the president is coming out and talking about oil refinery, fertilizer factory? No, this is a long time. This is in the making. Now even more, because of the war, because of the rising prices, that has nothing to do with the president. Everything is tied to energy. Everything. If energy is threatened globally, it will threaten whatever you're facing in your country. Everything. When you are energy dependent, you're affected by global prices. But if you're independent and you're tied to OFAC or the oil producing nations, you're still affected with the prices. You have to nationalize your oil rig, your oil, for you to control the prices yourself. But how many countries nationalize the oil? Venezuela did, and look what happened to them. You have a few countries, and look what happened to them. It's not so easy. But despite all of that, Guyanese are still living a first-class lifestyle. You have people from Suriname, Brazil, Venezuela, Curacao, French Guyana, going to Guyana and having free medical care. They're living like kings in Guyana. They can't live like kings in their own country. They can afford the Guyanese dream because of one man. Anyway, thank you for your attention. Share this live. Share this live. Until next time.